My name is Matt Haynes. I'm the owner of the Twisted Track Gallery. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight and helping us celebrate Women's History Month. We have an incredible show with 6 unbelievable artists. And all this happens with the support and help of our curators. So first, let me introduce Cynthia Liu. She's right over there. Yeah. And then Stephen Liu. Stephen can you give a wave, please? Stephen went and got another cheeseburger at the Twisted Track station. He loves those burgers. So really thankful you guys are out here tonight. We've been here for 5 years now. We do new shows every single month, every first Friday, every second Saturday. So if you enjoy what you see tonight, please come out again. I'd also like to introduce Lisa Hayden. She's part of the curating team. So once again, thank you for coming.
Well, welcome everybody. It's a beautiful evening and it's so nice to see everybody here. Thank you. We do, in fact, as Matt said, have 6 incredible artists this month. And I think 5 of them are going to give a little talk and you can have some Q&A with them. We're going to start with Barbetta Lockart.
Hello, everybody. Most of the work that I do tends to be a social commentary or political commentary, although I do occasionally do other things. But what I wanted to do in this group show is put together a group of pieces that relate to the world today. Some of them relate to the world in the past that unfortunately is still prevalent today, and other things that relate to the human condition, women's condition in particular, but the human condition. So there's that kind of differentiation between the two sections of this bit that I put together. One of the first pieces is this piece over here. It's para los desaparecidos. It's for the disappeared. It's for the disappeared of the world. This is an older piece, and unfortunately we're going through the same sort of thing today with people being disappeared out of this country and worldwide. These bits are the different countries of the world, and the message basically is, you know, it can be them and it can be you, me, us, hence the mirror. It's a really serious situation, I think, what people do to one another because they're quote unquote different. This is a piece that I did, and it's about human trafficking and about sex trafficking. And the title of this piece is They Promised We'd Be Safe, They Promised We'd Be Free, They Lied. And it is about the sort of things that happen to women and children throughout the world when they're trafficked. This one specifically relates to the United States, but it doesn't just have to be the United States. These pieces are more about human condition, in a sense. This piece is called I'm Juggling as Much as I Can, something that I think almost all women and men can relate to as we try to survive in 2026. And we're juggling jobs, we're juggling children, we're juggling health care, we're juggling everything. This piece is a piece about breast cancer. I've lost a great number of friends to breast cancer, something that shouldn't still be happening. So it's very personal to me. This piece in the middle is about, we seem to be missing the parts of ourselves that are the most important, our hearts and our minds, to help us fight all of these things that are going on and help us deal with them in a healthy fashion. This is another political piece. This piece is really important to me and dear to my heart. This is about the situation with missing and murdered Indigenous women across the world, but Canada, United States, and on this piece, it's Indigenous women, Black women, brown women, and yellow women that we just seem for some reason to treat as currency in a way. And I personally find that very, very problematic. It's done with children as well, but this is mostly about women. This is a piece that I did quite some time ago, but I think it's still current today. And it's called She Sees Herself in Everything She Reads. It has to do with mental illness, but it also has to do with stress and with for example, our reactions these days as we are just bombarded with all of the political nonsense and information and misinformation, more to the point, that is happening now, that it's taking such a toll on all of us. It also could be, I was thinking about this morning, actually, it also could be about we now no longer talk with people, we just live on our phones, and so we get our identities from the phones, so we're seeing ourselves in everything that we read. So it's kind of, it can go in a few different directions. This piece sort of sums all of it up. This piece is called Silent Witness No More. We can no longer be silent witnesses to the things that are happening to people in the world, people in our own countries, in our neighborhoods, in our families, in people we don't know, people we do know. We've got to start standing up. Got to start recognizing, standing up, and making the people responsible, and take them to task for, the people in the governments, take them to task for what they're doing to civilization as a whole and individuals on a one-to-one basis.
Okay. Hi, everybody. First, I want to say thank you for being here tonight. My name is Leslie McCarren, and my art is scattered throughout, and it's actually very different pieces. It's not a cohesive group, other than the fact that it has my favorite topic. Even the flowers, the landscapes, I really paint color. That's my thing. And I try to find subjects that I can put my color onto. And keeping in mind, of course, shapes and compositions. I'm really into those aspects because I think a good painting is successful based on its compositions. So I'd really like to open it up to any questions people might have about my work, or about color, or about my inspirations, other than color. Yes, Terry. What did I start in?
What gets you started?
Oh, what gets me started? Just making sure that I have a few hours of uninterrupted time in the studio. I am not ever short on ideas or things to paint. The problem is I don't seem to have enough time to paint. Right now I'm dying to get in and do a new painting for a show down in Sausalito. I'm hoping Tuesday I will have that time. So, yes, Ian.
Do you tend to work in multiples when you're doing a particular thing, like in these landscapes, or do you? I'm curious about your process.
Okay, when I have a show or when I'm painting for a purpose, like a show, I do paint in multiples. But if I'm just painting for me, or just painting to paint, I may just do, one at a time. The other thing I've been known to do, and I'm going to start this again soon, is I'll go in and find old paintings that I really wasn't that fond of. And since most of my paintings are on cradled boards, none of these here are on canvas, I will get out the good old sander and sand them down. I won't ever get rid of all the color, but what I'm trying to achieve is just a more smooth texture again, because it's the texture more than the color that I find distracting when I'm painting. I want to be in charge of what kind of texture. Either it's from a brush stroke or it's from a palette knife. Some of these are pretty much all palette knife. For example, this one, other than the background blue. This one is a combination. Okay, well, thank you so much. And again, thanks for being here.
Here she is. Jill Estroff, here you go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out on this beautiful evening. I have a history with Matt. Leslie didn't mention it, but about 10 years ago, when we were just kind of getting started showing, we set up in the little room next to his 33rd Street restaurant. And so it feels like full circle to come back and be in an actual gallery, and with such wonderful painters. Now, I'm the art curator at PBS KBIE, and I normally am talking about other people's art. And so it's a little bit of a switch to talk about my own work. I just have 5 pieces. 3 are figurative and 2 are landscapes, but they're both from family trips. One was to Felton and then Capitola, and another, our daughter who lives in Seattle, treated us to the Olympic Peninsula. And so the dock paintings are from seeing just figures on a dock and thinking about how the light hit them and could I try to capture that. So I love when I'm able to paint from my travels because then it brings it back to me. I'm there again. I do work from photographs, but sometimes I'll just look at it in black and white. It's just a starting point to give me an idea. I'm not trying to duplicate a photo. So I work in acrylic, and a lot of people like oil because it doesn't dry fast enough. I've been known to use a hair dryer on the acrylic because it doesn't dry fast enough for me. So I paint quickly, loose, gesturally, and I really love doing it. So any questions? I'm happy to answer. Yes?
Has your work as a curator influenced what you decide to paint yourself?
Not really, but I will tell you that during the submission period, which any budding artists in here, it's coming up, it's April through May. During that submission period, I find it a little hard to do my own work because I'm so busy selecting images. I'm also famous for kind of saying, what else you got? If an artist submits something and I know they have a more stellar work that would really build the best collection for us. So does it affect it? I have to ponder that a little more. I think I still just paint what I love. But thanks for asking. Yeah.
You paint in acrylic, are you on canvas?
Yes, on canvas.
So do you have any problem with the background? Do you kind of rush?
No, but like Leslie, I also paint over other paintings. I think all of these in here were other paintings that I didn't love.
I just find canvas and acrylic sometimes they can get cheap canvases. I can see canvas comes in my head.
No, I don't have any trouble with the texture. I actually like it.
I made that over the weekend. All right, well, we'll go back and see.
Yeah. Anyone else? And thanks again for coming out. It means a lot.
Okay, now we're just going to do a little bit of shifting. Lynn's going to speak next, and her 2 paintings are over there. So I'd sort of like her to be able to speak to them, and you can take a look. There's some seating here.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Lynn Mayugba, and these are my 2 pieces here. I'm going to give an artist a couple sentences as opposed to an artist talk, but I would say that my 2 pieces are 100% inspired by music, just like every single piece of art that I do. I thought that I had been an artist for about 10 years, but one of my best friends, Wendy, who is on her way here, reminded me that I've been an artist for about 30 years. I didn't realize that. So these pieces are actually made from concrete and acrylic. I don't use any paintbrushes. I use all traditional masonry tools, so I don't use any paintbrushes. My very good friend, Wayne, over here, is a real estate broker, but finds the time to make these beautiful frames and really elevates the pieces. So super grateful for that. Let's see, this piece right here, this is called Pink Alchemy. I was listening to Depeche Mode when I painted this piece. And again, everything is always inspired by music. That's the core of everything I do. This piece is called Gilded Pulse, and I was listening to a band called Drab Majesty, kind of a goth band that I love. So I don't do anything without listening to music or being inspired by a band or music. But the concrete doesn't weigh as much as you would think. A lot of people ask me if these paintings are about 100 pounds. They're not. I decide what I'm going to use, if it's going to be traditional concrete, or if it's going to be gravel, or if it's going to be like a pumice type rock. But these aren't as highly textured as I usually paint. I did discover that I love the color pink. I normally paint in blacks and whites and creams, a lot of gray. I like kind of a darker theme, but something over the last, I'd say, since Christmas, my daughter got me a gratitude journal, and it's something I've always really practiced, but it's something now, because of this journal, I talk about gratitude in the morning, first thing in the morning, and then I talk about gratitude last thing at night. And so a lot of gratitude is going into this painting, and for some reason, pink kind of aligns with how I'm feeling, and I can't get enough pink. So a lot of people think it's a softer color. I don't. It's just a really cool color to play with, so I love it. And that's it. Any questions anyone wants to ask?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you find that you are choosing the music to get to a certain image or whatever you want to do with your art, or does the music pick you?
Music always picks me, but I won't start painting until it's all a mood for me, but I am 100% inspired, and every painting is a result of what I'm listening to.
And do you have a website? I can see more of your work.
I have an Instagram.
Oh, here we go.
It's just at Lynn Mayugba.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Is the substrate, is that panel or is it canvases?
They're canvases. I paint on both canvas and wood. Yeah. Yes,
How
Matt.
long do those take?
They take a long time. As someone mentioned before about drying, they take a long time to dry. So they take about a week, but a lot of times, because it's concrete, you have to move quickly, but then the drying process takes a long time. And then maybe I don't like the texture, so I'll go over it. Sometimes I'm up to like 20 layers. So
Was the one on the left bright pink and then changed?
no, the what? No, it probably started. This probably started in black, and then I just can't stop with the pink.
So Lynn, I have a question. When you say you work with masonry tools, like what does that mean? What does that look like? What is that?
Trowels, and again, my friend has provided me, who was in the concrete business, giving me a lot of, what are the terms? I mean,
different gauge trowels and stuff like that.
trowels. I use the trowels. Various trowels, yes.
Do you use accelerants in your concrete mix?
No, I just do straight powder with the acrylic paints because it makes the colors more vibrant. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
When you paint and then you have to wait, it takes a long time. You have to listen to the music over and over again.
I like it. I can't get enough of it. So yes, I do. But normally a new playlist. Yeah, I do a lot of playlists. Anything else? We're good? Yes.
What initially inspired you to use like non-traditional material?
I painted in acrylic before. I did some found object art. My main thing is I did some encaustic as well, but about 6 years ago, I discovered concrete and different textures, and I am totally hooked. I actually donated some of my encaustic and some other tools that I've been using because I just love this medium. It totally captured me. So, yeah. And thank you to Twisted Track for having me. I'm really, really grateful.
And
Thank
we're
you.
so grateful.
Thank you.
Okay, Angel. Whoops. Okay, Angel. You want to start here, or do you want to? Is this good?
I'll probably walk around.
Okay.
Is that okay?
It's fine.
It's fine. Hello. My name is Angel Lesnikowski,
Twisted Track, thank you so much for having me. You guys did a wonderful job on this exhibition, and I appreciate it so much. You're really speaking up for the women that usually don't get as many opportunities out there in the world, and we appreciate you for giving us our own show to really have these conversations, which there are multiple conversations going on in this room, works that are referencing different inspirations or otherworldly issues, and I appreciate being able to be part of those conversations. My work is a little closer, okay. My work is a little difficult to digest, so I would appreciate if you allow me to be very transparent and have this conversation with you all. My background is my dad, cowboy from LA, iconic rodeo cowboy. He wore the boots with the spurs, cowboy hat. He's a really cool guy. Blue eyes, black hair, like iconic looking guy. My mom is an Assyrian woman from Iraq, and she has a whole different lineage and life she's lived. She is from the Assyrian Empire, so historically, modern day Iraq. And then she was raised in Nineveh, and she had to leave Nineveh because she couldn't continue her education as a civil engineer. So she moved to California, met my dad. 9 months later, I popped out. Hello. Those two cultures converged in the home in very odd ways. And as an artist, that's the path I chose, obviously that has inspired a lot of the conversations I have. Those conversations are a bit difficult because in the home, my dad suppressed my mom because she's in America now. She doesn't need to speak the language. She doesn't need to know her culture. She doesn't need to be part of that world. As I got older, I realized I was brainwashed, and as an artist, when we do our own research into our work with whatever we're trying to say, you end up discovering things about yourself you didn't know. So I learned a lot about my culture, my mom's side of the history. I knew everything iconically about my dad. I had my own boots and hat growing up. And I was part of different sort of those American traditions that were fun. And I know how to line dance, but I don't know how to speak my mom's language. I just learned ABCs last week. And that really disappoints me because I don't know that side of me very well. So with that guilt I feel, a lot of my work reflects otherworldly issues, other conversations that all reflect what my mom had gone through when she was growing up, because I'm trying to compensate for what I missed out on. And with that, I am anti-war. I'm afraid to die. I'm scared of something happening to me, my community, my friends. So with my research, I ended up falling in love with talking about humanitarian issues, social issues. And with that, while I am very privileged to live in California, where everyone is wonderful, and I've only been treated well here by the people in my community, I will say that the rest of the world isn't as lucky as we are, so then I like to personify the rest of the world in my work. In the piece behind you guys, I'm specifically referring to Arabs and Muslims being dehumanized, demonized, and criminalized because of the actions of a few, when we are hypocrites in our own country for what we have done and what we have said. I am calling out the dehumanization by putting the mask of a demon on a child when the child has done no wrong, but we have assumptions that we have made because of certain perceptions we've had, which I want to speak again. My mom is from Iraq. My mom was criminalized by ISIS for being a Christian woman. So this, as the child of that Christian woman, I am still having that conversation about the dehumanization of Arabs and Muslims and how that is not right. That is wrong. Then over here, we have it's supposed to be a hawk, a red-tailed hawk that is native to California. I often turn my creatures, my animals, into a black personified Grim Reaper, because the biggest part of my work is I am afraid to die. I'm afraid of my community dying. So the Grim Reaper appears. And in this piece, I'm referring to Mexican, Hispanic, Latinx people who are more native to this land than those who prosecute them. And we are putting them in chains, and they refuse to be in those chains. And then I'm also referencing the Assyrian people at the very top. That is an Assyrian motif of the fish of the land and where our food source came from. So it's an Assyrian motif to reference how we were criminalized and kicked out of our country where we were natively born, and now we can no longer exist in that space. We are hunted, just like the Hispanic, Latinx, or Mexican individuals in our communities today. Then, my favorite piece of all, in my work, I like to do the method I've been inspired by, a shinkule, when you take paper and you mount it onto other works of paper. My work is very printmaking inspired, so I've worked with printmaking artists like Emmett Murrow or Matthew Hobson Walker. They're my biggest inspirations. They inspired me to do multimedia, mix layers. I'm able to get more depth in my work, add more symbolism to my work. And in this piece, I was referencing how my mom, going back to her again, it's all this research I've been doing on that side of the family. My mom has dehumanized and criminalized Arabs and Muslims because of what situations she's gone through, which makes sense. She has seen traumas and histories and brainwashed in her own way with her own propaganda that she has her opinions. But as her daughter, who's done my own research, who has gone through different situations, I'm able to speak about certain topics differently. So I take my mom's language and I stand against her in this piece. In Assyrian, by the way, surith, so like for Mexicans, it's Spanish. For Assyrians, it's surith. In surith, I am saying free Palestine to take back what her opinion is, and as an Assyrian child, push in my opinion, because my mom is pro-Israel. And we have those conversations because of me believing in it being a genocide and these people dying for no reason, killing children for no reason, destroying their home for propaganda. These topics are very difficult to digest. And as me and my mom have conversed, we're working together. I do not see her as wrong. She does not see me as wrong, even though situations get heated sometimes. But I understand her perspective, and she understands my perspective, and we work together to have these conversations. And I hope my work not only educates others, but inspires that conversation where even if you might not agree with a polarizing topic, you are willing to have a conversation about it to have an understanding of what, if a child did die, why are you not sympathetic? That is baffling to me. That is something I call my mom out to her face for her having her opinions. And she does the same to me with her people and what they have gone through. Are there any questions? Thank you guys, really quick. Thank you guys so much for being so patient with me and allowing me to be so transparent. Okay. Are there any questions? Yes.
The word is the painting behind you.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Free Palestine, but I can only say Palestine. There's the way that she says it.
Thank you.
Of course. And it's actually backwards. It says Palestine free because, learning the language, I forgot that they write backwards. For Sudith, when we read the opposite way that you would read English. So in a book, we go the other direction with everything. Any other questions? Yes?
The moon?
The moon. So it's referencing the Middle Eastern symbol. A lot of Arab flags or cultures or religions have that symbol. So it's a universal sort of signifier for where this is pinpointing without it actually saying it. Because you can't really tell, I guess, with the Arab language. But yes, sir?
Why is that piece not for sale?
It is going to the Made in California show at the La Brea Gallery. Cynthia was very, very sweet to put it as not for sale for now so that it can be shipped off to that gallery. But it is available if you're willing to hopefully loan it to me for the gallery show. Talk to them, talk to Twisted Track after we come back from LA, and it'll be available. Any other questions?
Do you listen to music when you paint?
I do listen to music when I paint. I'm into heavy metal, doomsday metal, anything. You know what it is? I really romanticized being in the army at some point. So I thought of myself like, what would I listen to if I got in a tank and I was, being scary? And that's the music I picture, and I think that's probably what they listened to, and started playing it. Very young.
I feel like you listen to goes from music to something heavier.
Yeah, you were right then. Any other questions? Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. Please enjoy the evening.